legal experts calling it absolutely unprecedented. Tomorrow's potential indictment and arrest of former President Trump. His supporters say it is the mother of all witch hunts. His critics say it's about time. But would Trump's arrest kill his presidential plans or only make him more popular? As you know, the grand jury case taking place here in New York City, it has nothing to do with January 6th or even the Mar-a-Lago secret documents. Instead, it's all about an alleged hush money payment to porn star sexy Stormy Daniels. Ow! A $130,000 payment said to have been made up to cover Trump's affair with Stormy prior to the 2016 presidential election. At the center of it all, New York's controversial district attorney Alvin Bragg. This case aside, that guy sucks. All right, Republican lawmakers say the case is a gross overreach, but Bragg says he will not give in to any Trump intimidation. Regardless, Trump's attorney says the case is a joke.
If anyone else were in that situation with these set of facts, would they be prosecuted? The answer, Mark, by all accounts, is 100% no. This is a politically motivated prosecution. This is the thing that's happening in this country now, where we're using the justice system as a weapon. It's weaponization of a prosecutor's office to get a political opponent.
Well, that's not good. Even Trump's potential 2024 rival, Ron DeSantis, says the case smells a little fishy. Could be
I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star. What I can speak to is that if you have a prosecutor who is ignoring crimes happening every single day in his jurisdiction, and he chooses to go back many, many years ago, that's an example of pursuing a political agenda and weaponizing the office.
But Donald Trump himself has not commented at all. He has remained mum. Just kidding. He hasn't stopped talking about it for 3 straight days. In one of many Truth Social posts, he said, quote, "I find it very hard to believe that a racist Soros-backed DA who lets murderers, rapists, and drug dealers walk free and who has presided over the biggest violent crime wave in the history of NYC is using the power of his office to persecute, indict, and prosecute a former president of the United States of America for no crime. The witch hunt never ends, but we will make America great again." That was a nice ad at the end. About an hour ago, we learned law enforcement now expects an indictment next week. Either way, is this case a slam dunk or just more fake news? Let's meet tonight's party panel and suss it. We've got attorney and Republican strategist Alexandra Wilkes, Fox senior political analyst, he's holding up D.C. on his very shoulders, Juan Williams, and 2020 Libertarian vice presidential candidate and chair of youarethepower.net. Go there immediately and high-five him digitally. His name is Spike Cohen. Welcome, everyone. Alexandra, I will start with you. Does the DA have a strong case here?
No, I think even the most avowed Trump haters have to admit that this is a dog of a case. I mean, first of all, he's trying to awkwardly pair this misdemeanor of falsifying business records with a felony of a federal elections campaign violation. And it's not even really clear from the facts that are presented whether or not these alleged crimes even fall within the statute of limitations. So you had a district or a U.S. attorney that declined to prosecute this. You had the FEC that declined to prosecute this. But you have Alvin Bragg. And I think it's because of the activists in his office who have been clamoring for him to do something about this since day one. They've cobbled together this charge, and I think it's just incredibly weak.
Well, it's also problematic because it could, if they don't succeed here, and let's just say this about Bragg's office right now, Juan, and you know this, he hasn't met a felony. He wouldn't love to downgrade to a misdemeanor, but here he's trying to make a misdemeanor upgraded to a felony. But, you know, like the FBI raid, Trump, outside of this case, could be in a lot of legal deep yogurt. This is not that vat. But it will make him look sympathetic. Isn't that a risk if this is politically motivated?
Wow, that was a lot, Kennedy, even for me. I think it's, it's a risk. I don't know. I mean, the bottom line in my mind is, and I think Alexandra said this, we don't know. We don't know what Alvin Bragg has. He does not have a great record. As you said, he's always trying to downgrade something, and initially did not want to bring this case, and then one of his employees, one of the prosecutors, actually wrote a book condemning him for not bringing the charges. So now here he is bringing charges, and I got to expect that maybe he's found something else or something to add to the case to give it more weight, more gravity. But you know what? To me, the bottom line is nobody's above the law. Just because you're a former president doesn't mean that you shouldn't face consequences when you just do something that's illegal. Can you imagine the Republican reaction if Barack Obama had paid off a porn star? Oh, my gosh.
I might have a little bit more respect for him. I might have been like,
oh, really?
yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, he's got a pretty clean record, that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know, but President number 45, he's got some iffy avenues. I don't think this is the worst one. I think if you are trying to bring him down, you better have a tighter case than this. And in New York City, can you please go after the people who are violent criminals, the repeat offenders who are committing 80% of the violent crimes in this city? So, you know, women don't feel good walking alone at night. Even some of the big strapping, hunky men also feel a little unsafe. But I will say something to Juan's point, Spike. There are a lot of politicians that I would like to see at the Gray Bar Hotel. You?
Most of them, yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's what frustrates me about this whole thing. And incidentally, I just want to say, I have watched politics long enough to have it's all over for Trump fatigue syndrome at this point. I've heard many, many times that this is the end for Donald Trump. And he's starting to feel like Inspector Gadget. I don't think that, you know, that they're ever going to actually get him next time. But I will say this. If they really wanted to try him for a crime, why not go after him for crimes that actually caused harm to people? Why not go after him for propagating the lie of 2 weeks to slow the spread that we just had the 3-year anniversary of, or where he authorized and empowered Anthony Fauci and the CDC to work with governors in almost all of the 50 states to make it a crime for us to go outside or go to church or go to work or operate our businesses, or propagating the so-called CARES Act and the corporate welfare that was given out by the trillions to make sure that the billionaires didn't lose a penny while the rest of us were forced to stay home and were losing everything. You know, if they went after him for something like that, we'd probably get wide bipartisan or multi-partisan support. But the problem is they'd have to go after almost every other person on Capitol Hill too, and the American people would actually win for a change. So that's certainly never going to happen. So instead, we're going to get this political circus.
Yeah, I said this last week. COVID is really going to be his Achilles heel in the presidential primaries.